Looking for alternative investments that provide better returns than fixed deposits? Are you looking for Islamic investments that are Sharia compliant? Try Islamic P2P financing with microLEAP. So, what are the steps? Go onto our website and create an account. Choose Become an Investor. Fill in the applicant details, including full name, IC, and date of birth. You may choose Islamic accounts only in your investor application. Scan or take a picture of the front and back of your IC. Choose the files and upload. Then either upload a scanned copy of your bank statement or transfer RM1 online from your bank account. Then agree and tick the agreement, T&C and privacy policy. Click Submit and wait for us to carry out our checks. Once due diligence has been carried out, you're approved. Add to your available balance by FPX, online transfer, or by cash deposit, check, or bank transfer. Go to the funding list and search for Islamic Investment Notes. Select Islamic Investment Notes by clicking here. Find the returns and tenors that suits you. Click on the Islamic Investment Notes to find out more about the issuer or borrower. Once you like what you see, choose your amount and click Invest Now. Or choose Auto Invest and select your criteria so that you don't miss out on our latest Islamic notes. Here is your Islamic term sheet which details your trade. And you have 24 hours to retract your investment if you change your mind. The payment schedule tells you when you receive your payments. Regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia, SC. Thank you for choosing microLEAP. Small steps, big impact. Happy investing! Are you a small business owner looking for alternative Islamic financing? Try Islamic P2P Financing with microLEAP. So what do you need to do? First, please read and understand the Sharia-Compliant guidelines. Find out more on microLEAP's FAQ page. Once you have understood the rules, go onto our website and create an account. Then choose Raise Funds. Fill in your funding details, including funding amount, tenor, and purpose of funds. Start by filling in your business details in our easy-to-follow steps. You may choose Islamic under application type. You'll need to have a guarantor for this financing. Simply scan or take a picture and upload your identification documents. Then upload your business bank and financial statements. If your revenue goes into your personal account, upload your personal bank statement. Next, upload other supporting documents that you think might help with your application. Upload your business premise photos and make sure it is attractive enough for us to feature on our platform. Then agree and tick the agreement, T&C and privacy policy. And click Submit and wait for our team to carry out our checks. You'll also need to complete a psychometric test that measures your willingness to pay your installments. Once we have completed our credit checks, you are approved for financing. You will then need to fill out a simple Q&A so that P2P investors know what your business is about, like the reason for financing and future plans. then your investment note will be featured on our funding list, ready for investment. You have 30 days to raise your funds. Complete our online debt management video training, then our team will transact the commodity murabaha. Funding is only transferred after you have completed and passed the online video training. Once your note is successfully filled, we will disperse your financing direct to your bank account. Remember to keep track of your monthly payments. Thank you for choosing microLEAP. Small steps, big impact. Good luck! Assalamualaikum and greetings. Learn how to prepare and upload management accounts. Ready to upload your financial statements? Click on the sample statement provided. Choose English or Bahasa Malaysia. You will open a profit and loss template and balance sheet template. Use the tabs below to navigate between worksheets. Refer to the guidelines here before you begin. Let's start with profit and loss. Fill up your business name and financial year. Input the financial figures for your business. Revenue and net profits are auto-calculated at the side and bottom. If you add, remove rows, check your figures and calculations are correct. Then repeat the process in the balance sheet template. The figures will auto-calculate too. Finished? Print out the forms and sign on behalf of the company. Scan or take a picture of the documents. And upload the signed documents. Contact us for further inquiries.
Mencari pelaburan alternatif yang memberikan pulangan yang lebih baik daripada simpanan tetap? Cuba pembiayaan P2P dengan microLEAP. Jadi, bagaimanakah caranya? Layari laman sesawan kami untuk mencipta akaun. Pilih menjadi pelabur. Isi maklumat anda termasuk nama penuh, IC dan tarikh lahir. Imbas atau ambil gambar bahagian depan dan belakang IC, pilih fail dan muat naik. Kemudian, muat naik salinan penyata bank anda atau pindahkan RM1 dari akaun bank anda. Setuju dan klik kepada perjanjian dan polisi yang berikut. Klik hantar dan tunggu semakan dijalankan. Permohonan diluluskan setelah ketekunan wajar telah dijalankan. Tambah nilai pada bakian anda melalui FPX atau melalui deposit tunai, cek atau pemindahan bank. Lawati senarai pembiayaan dan cari nota pelaburan. Cari kadar pulangan dan tempoh yang menepati citarasa anda. Klik pada nota pelaburan untuk ketahui lebih lanjut mengenai penerbit. Jika berminat, sila pilih amaun pelaburan anda. Dan klik labur sekarang. Atau pilih pelaburan auto dan pilih kriteria supaya anda tidak ketinggalan untuk mana-mana pelaburan. Lembaran terma yang memperincikan pelaburan anda ada di sini. Jika anda berubah fikiran, anda ada 24 jam untuk menarik semula pelaburan anda. Tarikh pembayaran akan dipamerkan di jadual pembayaran. Dikawal selia oleh Suruhanjaya Securities Malaysia. Selamat melabur! Adakah anda pemilik perniagaan kecil mencari pembiayaan dan menghadapi kesukaran untuk mendapatkan pinjaman dari bank? Cuba pembiayaan P2P dengan microLEAP. Jadi, apa yang perlu anda lakukan? Layari laman web kami dan cipta akaun. Pilih mengumpulkan dana. Isi butiran pembiayaan anda termasuk jumlah pembiayaan, tempoh dan tujuan memohon dana. Ikuti langkah mudah kami dengan mengisi butiran perniagaan anda. Penjamin diperlukan. Ianya sama ada penjamin korporat, peribadi atau pihak ketiga. Muat naik IC anda dan penjamin atau maklumat syarikat. Kemudian, muat naik penyata bank perniagaan dan penyata keuangan anda. Sekiranya pendapatan anda dikreditkan ke dalam akaun peribadi, muat naik penyata tersebut. Seterusnya, muat naik dokumen sokongan lain yang dapat membantu permohonan anda. Muat naik juga foto premis perniagaan anda dan pastikan ianya cukup menarik untuk kami pamerkan di platform kami. Setelah bersetuju, klik perjanjian, terma dan syarat serta dasar privasi. Kemudian, klik hantar dan tunggu pengesahan dilakukan oleh pasukan kami. microLEAP akan menghubungi anda sekiranya kami memerlukan pengesahan lanjut. Ujian psikometrik perlu dilakukan untuk menilai kesediaan anda membuat pembayaran ansuran. Setelah pengesahan dilakukan, permohonan anda lulus untuk pembiayaan. Kemudian anda perlu mengisi soal jawab yang ringkas agar para pelabur P2P mengetahui tentang perniagaan anda, termasuk tujuan pembiayaan dan rancangan masa depan. Nota pelaburan anda akan dipamerkan di senarai pembiayaan yang tersedia untuk pelaburan. Anda mempunyai 30 hari untuk mengumpulkan dana dan setelah nota anda berjaya diisi sepenuhnya, pembiayaan akan dikreditkan terus ke dalam akaun bank anda. Patuhi tarikh pembayaran bulanan anda. Terima kasih kerana memilih microLEAP. Semoga berjaya.
Pembiayaan antara rakan setara P2P atau peer-to-peer di Malaysia semakin mendapat perhatian sejak akhir ini. microLEAP, sebuah syarikat atau operator P2P yang telah diberikan lesen dan dikawal selia oleh Suruhanjaya Securities Malaysia.
microLEAP is an Islamic and Conventional P2P microfinancing platform. So funds are raised through our platform from the crowd. So instead of getting financing from the bank, you're actually getting financing for maybe 100 people financing your business. So we allow Shariah-Compliant Financing on our platform. So for example, your makcik in Kuala Pilah that wants 10,000 ringgit, they may raise those funds through our platform and it will be funded by maybe 100 to 200 people.
microLEAP bertindak sebagai orang tengah dalam urus niaga, pemberi pinjaman atau pelabur dan penerima pinjaman atau penerbit tanpa keterlibatan bank.
Dia menghubungkan dua golongan yang berbeza, golongan yang sangat memerlukan bantuan dan also golongan yang mencari peluang untuk melabur dalam sesuatu. Tak kisahlah dia melabur kerana keuntungan ataupun dia melabur kerana untuk social investment ataupun social responsibility. And then platform macam ini sebenarnya membantukan untuk kita mencari. Macam saya mungkin takkan ada masa untuk tanya peniaga tepi jalan sama ada dia memerlukan bantuan atau tidak.
microLEAP offers is quite different from other platforms in the sense that, as I'm sure you know, they're focused on impact and they really target a different segment of the industry, which is the micro SMEs, which are in a way neglected by many other platforms. Most of the P2P lending platforms, of course, they're very noble too. They do provide financing, much needed financing for the early stage companies that have less than 3 years record.
Ini sedikit sebanyak membantu peniaga micro SME yang memerlukan bantuan kewangan, terutama krisis pandemik yang memberi kesan domino yang teruk kepada peniaga kecil.
Kalau kita pergi ke bank pun belum tentu mudah nak dapat pinjaman. Dengan masa sekarang ni macam-macam perlu, jadi daripada microLEAP ni mudah. At least kalau macam tak strong tu, kita ada backup dokumen kan, yang lain-lain boleh diberi.
Bagi peminjam atau issuer, mereka perlu melalui skor kredit yang disediakan dan meletakkan informasi benar dan tepat di laman web. Manakala pelabur atau investor boleh memilih nota pelaburan yang disusun oleh microLEAP dan semua urus niaga pelaburan dijalankan atas talian secara beretika dan mematuhi syariat Islam.
I would highly recommend lending money through microLEAP because it empowers you to become your own bank in a way. So much like our traditional banks lend money to others and get a return on it, we can now do that. And I'm honestly, I'm so happy with how S3 has been on the forefront of introducing all these new innovative products, and because it really democratizes the financing the financing for not only business owners but as well as the general public. It's really empowering to be able to put your money to work and know that you're helping the industry, you're helping the economy in a way.
Dia punya attraction untuk microLEAP ni adalah investment note yang dia ditawarkan adalah syariah compliant, meaning that saya tak perlu untuk check lagi sekali dia syarikat, saya kena check dia punya perniagaan dan apa, adakah dia syariah compliant atau tidak, because microLEAP dah buatkan benda tu untuk saya. So benda tu memudahkanlah saya sebagai pelabur, saya tak payah buat kerja banyak. So saya percaya pada microLEAP punya proses dan saya melabur sebab ada syariah compliant. Itu salah satu kriteria penting lah bagi Malay Muslim.
Menurut pengasas dan ketua pegawai eksekutif microLEAP, Tengku Danny Muzaffar, hadirnya syarikat ini tepat pada masanya ekoran ramai peniaga kecil dan B40 yang tidak dapat menjana pendapatan ketika pelaksanaan perintah kuarantin.
As you know, COVID-19 is unprecedented. It's something that's never happened before and affects many businesses. We try to help our businesses that we know have pivoted to a different type of business, or they pivoted online when before they were offline. So these we know are the business that will do well during a pandemic like this.
Kaedah pembiayaan dan pelaburan alternatif ini bukan hanya membantu dari segi keuangan, tetapi dapat memberikan impak sosial walau ia nampak kecil, tapi mampu mengaktifkan perniagaan yang berkemungkinan gulung tikar ekoran ekonomi yang merudum.
I wanted to find a business that had an impact in people's lives. And so I looked at microfinancing, because in microfinancing, a small amount of money will have a great social and economic impact on these businesses that we are trying to help. So microfinancing is what I wanted to help to start with. And then I found that in Malaysia, Securities Commission actually regulates this new form of financing called P2P, or peer-to-peer. So I did my research and I found out that there weren't many companies that were strictly focused on P2P microfinancing. So I saw there was a gap in the market. And even a bigger gap, I found that there was no Islamic P2P in the market.
Sedikit sebanyak terdapat elemen amal kebajikan dalam pembiayaan P2P. Bukan hanya pelaburan dan keuntungan, tetapi membantu mereka yang memerlukan di saat diperlukan.
Saya berterima kasihlah pada semua investors yang invest saya punya kedai, and then terutama pada microLEAP yang banyak sangat membantu mencari investor-investor untuk invest saya punya kedai. Sekarang at least dalam masa COVID ni kami dapatlah berniaga seperti, walaupun taklah seperti dulu, tapi at least dapatlah membantu menjana pendapatan kami.
Ahmad Faizal, pemilik kedai tudung bawah AFM Deals Enterprise di Bazaria Wangsa Maju, antara peniaga mikro yang tergugat mata pencarian ketika pelaksanaan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan PKP tahun lepas.
Hari itu masa PKP, kedai pernah tutup dalam ni pernah tutup 4 bulan. Lepas tu saya income kurang dalam hampir separuh jugalah. Jadi lepas dapat pinjaman ni dapat cover sikit lah. Lagi bulan puasa ni biasanya pengunjung lebih ramai daripada bulan-bulan biasa.
microLEAP, platform pembiayaan mikro patuh syariah turun padang, membantu peniaga Bazaria Wangsa Maju terpilih bagi mengumpulkan dana sehingga RM50,000 setiap kedai.
Yes, so this is very different from our normal day-to-day job because everything is online. We actually never meet any of these businesses. So by going on the ground, turun padang, meet all the peniagas, it's a different experience and it's very exciting. and they get put a face to our online platform. Mereka boleh bertemu dengan staff kami. Lepas tu dia akan bagi soalan lah, macam mana nak berdaftar, macam nak pemohon. Lepas tu kalau kita duduk dengan dia, mereka tahu ini platform yang regulated dari Suruhanjaya Security Malaysia, dan dia ada trust dalam platform kami.
Ahli Parlimen Wangsa Maju Datin Paduka Dr. Tan Yee Kiew turut bersama turun padang dalam berkongsi maklumat platform pembiayaan microLEAP. Katanya bantuan ini agar peniaga tidak terlibat dengan peminjam ahlong atau peminjam wang yang tidak bertauliah.
Saya amat mengalu-alukan sebarang inisiatif yang dapat membantu peniaga-peniaga kecil ini untuk menyelesaikan masalah kewangan mereka. Sama ada inisiatif ini daripada kerajaan ataupun sektor swasta. Saya rasa ini konsep baru dan perlu mempromosikan. Tapi konsep ini baguslah.
Proses mendapatkan dana microLEAP berjalan lancar dengan sangat pantas. Malah, syarikat itu menyertakan video pendidikan yang membantu peniaga agar memahami cara mengikuti perkembangan pelaburan dengan lebih baik. Buat Ahmad Faizal, dia merancang gunakan dana mengembangkan perniagaan seterusnya.
Orang invest dan kita pun sebab dia bukan dari bank, daripada investor, jadi macam dia pun dapat profit, kita pun dapat benefit lah.
Untuk peniaga mikro dan juga mereka yang berminat untuk membuat pelaburan microLEAP dan perkhidmatan yang ditawarkan, sila lawati www.microleapasia.com yang tersedia dalam bahasa Malaysia dan bahasa Inggeris.
Hari tu masa dapat mesej dekat grup Danau Hotel ni, saya terus pergi ke pusat khidmat ahli parlimen. Lepas tu semua dokumen saya dah submit. Lepas tu dia terus terima je lah. Lepas tu kalau ada yang tak lengkap tu terus cuma melalui WhatsApp dengan email je. Jadi semua permohonan jalan lancar je lah. Semua okey. Saya cuma buat tambah stok tudung je lah. Stok tudung untuk bulan puasa ni, untuk berniaga bulan puasa ni, stok tudung itu je.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Platform pembiayaan antara rakan setara P2P Islamic dan Conventional microLEAP akan menyediakan pembiayaan alternatif RM500,000 kepada usahawan mikro akhir tahun ini. Ia bagi membantu usahawan termasuk peniaga bazar Ramadan yang mengalami masalah aliran tunai serta PKS yang gagal mendapat pinjaman perniagaan daripada pihak bank.
Kita membantu perniagaan yang find it susah untuk ambil loan dari bank. So kita boleh membantu mereka get working capital yang sangat mustahak untuk mereka lah. So we help the small businesses that are underserved, that are also unbanked in Malaysia.
Majoriti pembiayaan ini dikumpul daripada pelabur runcit dan korporat berkonsepkan patuh syariah bagi kemudahan peniaga mengembangkan perniagaan di sebalik ketidaktentuan ekonomi. Purata kadar faedah 10 hingga 15% setahun. Pembiayaan dibuka kepada semua usahawan yang telah menjalankan perniagaan sekurang-kurangnya 6 bulan dan setiap peniaga akan menerima pinjaman RM50,000.
Baik, bertemu kembali. Perbadanan Pembangunan Teknologi Malaysia MTDC memeterai 2 memorandum persefahaman MOU dalam majlis secara maya dengan Pitch Platform Sdn Bhd atau Pitch In dengan microLEAP PLT. Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif MTDC, Datuk Nur Halim Yunus berkata, kerjasama itu bertujuan mewujudkan sinergi membabitkan dana disediakan oleh kerajaan dan pelabur sophisticated yang melabur dengan platform berkenaan. Datuk Nur Halim menyifatkan kerjasama itu membolehkan MTDC menyertai pelaburan pendanaan ekuiti ramai dan pembiayaan P2P sehingga 30% dalam syarikat berpotensi menerusi setiap kempen pembiayaan pendanaan ekuiti ramai dan P2P. Kerjasama itu juga akan membolehkan anak syarikat milik Khazanah Nasional Berhad mendapat akses membabitkan maklumat relevan berkaitan penawaran di platform pembiayaan pendanaan ekuiti ramai dan P2P. Nur Halim berkata sinergi sedemikian dapat dijana menerusi kerjasama yang tidak hanya menguntungkan MTDC dan platform pendanaan tetapi juga kalangan usahawan, seterusnya memajukan teknologi industri 4.0.
And we want to see that we can create a, as I've always said, a critical mass of startups, of technology-based companies in Malaysia that will be able to offer their products and solutions. One, to the SMEs that we have in the country, because as we all know now with the COVID-19 situation, things have changed. A lot of automation and robotics and other technologies are needed for SMEs to continue to be competitive, to grow and to go overseas. So I think these are the things that we would like to develop, the relationships between our companies and other companies under the microLEAP and Pitch-In ecosystem.
Nur Halim menjelaskan kerjasama berkenaan akan menambah nilai dalam ekosistem kerana ia akan menghubungkan awam dan swasta serta pengaksesan hubungan itu oleh syarikat dengan kumpulan penyelidikan di universiti. Sementara itu, CEO Pitch-In Syamsul Jafni Syafi'i berkata, dana pelaburan bersama bernilai RM10 juta MTDC akan tersedia kepada pemula niaga yang memberi fokus ke atas teknologi dan sains. Syarikat yang membangunkan teknologi serta inovasi tempatan boleh menghubungi Pitch-In bagi mengetahui lebih lanjut mengenai skim pelaburan bersama atau memohon pembiayaan tersebut. Sementara menurut CEO microLEAP Tunku Deni Nasaifuddin Muzaffar, MTDC akan memperuntukkan sebanyak RM2 juta bagi microLEAP yang akan dimanfaatkan bagi membiayai sehingga RM500,000 atau maksimum 30% dalam nota pelaburan berlandaskan syariah terpilih yang dipaparkan di platformnya.
Bidang keusahawanan perlu terus diberikan perhatian dalam usaha melahirkan lebih ramai usahawan sekaligus mampu meningkatkan ekonomi negara. Menyedari hakikat tersebut, Perbadanan Pembangunan Teknologi Malaysia MTDC hari ini menandatangani memorandum persefahaman MOU bersama Pitch-In dan microLEAP yang merupakan penyedia platform berdaftar pendanaan awam di Malaysia. MOU tersebut adalah bagi mewujudkan kerjasama dalam industri pembiayaan antara rakan setara P2P, pendanaan awam equity ECF serta pelaburan modal yang diperlukan oleh syarikat-syarikat teknologi tempatan. Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif MTDC Datuk Nur Halim Yunus berkata, usaha sama ini bakal membantu lebih banyak usahawan tempatan yang aktif dalam pembangunan teknologi bagi industri 4.0 atau revolusi industri yang lebih luas.
Keduanya saya juga merasakan bahawa ada sinergi dari segi bagaimana syarikat yang dapat kita biayai bersama ini nanti akan dapat dibawa masuk ke dalam ekosistem MTDC. Supaya kita dapat membina jaringan kerjasama di antara syarikat-syarikat yang telah mendapat pembiayaan dan supaya mereka dapat bekerjasama untuk membantu satu sama lain.
Kerjasama yang dibangunkan ini juga dilihat merupakan yang pertama seumpamanya berlaku antara agensi kerajaan dengan penyedia platform pendaftar pendanaan awam di Malaysia. Dalam pada itu, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Pitchin Sam Syafiee menyifatkan pendanaan ekuiti ramai ini merupakan contoh penggalangan dana yang bijak dan memberi manfaat bagi tempoh panjang kepada syarikat terlibat.
Kami percaya bahawa penggalangan dana oleh sebuah syarikat bukanlah hanya semata-mata untuk mengumpulkan wang. Kami percaya bahawa bagi mencapai pertumbuhan, pelabur boleh memainkan peranan penting dan aktif. Dengan adanya pelabur seperti MTDC, dengan pengalaman yang sangat luas, jaringan yang berharga, sistem mekanisme sokongan yang sedia ada, kepakaran dan apabila digabungkan bersama pembiayaan daripada orang ramai, akan membawa lebih ramai pelanggan baru kepada syarikat dan dengan secara langsung membawa faedah yang berpanjangan kepada sesuatu syarikat.
Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif microLEAP, Tunku Danny Nasaifuddin Muzaffar juga melihat kerjasama ini diwujudkan bagi masa yang sesuai dalam membantu syarikat-syarikat teknologi untuk bertahan bagi menghadapi krisis pandemik COVID-19 ketika ini.
Dengan MTDC bersedia memberikan pembiayaan hingga RM500,000, ini menunjukkan bahawa syarikat teknologi khusus ini berpotensi untuk menjadi berjaya dan ini akan menarik lebih banyak pelabur P2P untuk bergabung dan membiayai syarikat tersebut.
Pihaknya berharap syarikat teknologi yang memenuhi kriteria kredit ditetapkan akan mengumpul dana yang diperlukan bagi mengembangkan perniagaan mereka.
This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, the business station. My name is Rich Bradbury and this is Open for Business. We're going to talk a little bit about P2P financing here in Malaysia. It's an alternative financing tool on one side and an alternative investment tool on the other. Now, I'll be speaking with a proudly Malaysian fintech platform, microLEAP, and they're focusing on the microfinance sector and is the first P2P operator in Malaysia that offers both Islamic and conventional financing on the same platform. On the line with me, I have Tunku Danny and Matthew Fernandez. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi there.
Hi. How are you both this morning?
Yeah, very good. I have my coffee, so I'm ready to talk as much as I can.
Good. So you guys launched the Islamic Investment Notes and Islamic Financing in April 2020 to help SMEs and micro businesses, of course, hit by COVID-19. And since then, the funds dispersed to micro enterprises hosted on the platform have grown more than 1,000% in just 5 months, right?
Yes, that's right. So we've been really happy with the extreme quick growth that we've seen once we launched our Islamic products. We noticed that a lot of our P2P investors, which are the lenders that give financing to these micro enterprises that we're trying to help, a lot of them are looking for Islamic assets. And because of that, our growth in terms of investment notes that have been dispersed or been financed has grown exponentially. You know, we started in April with only 60,000 ringgit worth of funds being dispersed, and by November, microLEAP dispersed over 1 million ringgit. So we're really happy with the growth rate.
Wow. Just before we move a little bit further, Tunku, Danny and Matthew, can you just explain to us what your position within microLEAP is?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Tunku Danny. I'm the founder and CEO of microLEAP. And together with me, we have...
Matthew, I'm the COO of microLEAP.
Okay, so I mean, I understand, the basics of P2P and microfinancing, but for people who might not know a little bit about it, can you just kind of give a bit of a background as to how it works?
Okay, yes, sure. So peer-to-peer financing, or P2P, is basically where for us, a micro business or micro enterprise that is looking for financing. My favorite example is, for example, your makcik in Kuala Pilah that wants 10,000 ringgit for her kedai runcit to buy either more stock or do renovations to her small stall. So this 10,000 ringgit is funded by the crowd. So this could be up to 100 people, investing or lending small clips of money into their business through our platform. And the makcik, at the end of it, pays back monthly principal plus profit if it's Islamic, or principal plus interest if it's conventional, via our platform, and we pay back to all the P2P investors. So basically, it's like getting financing, but not through a bank, but through by up to 100 people.
Wonderful. And what do you think sets you apart from your competitors?
I think the one thing that sets us apart is that microLEAP is completely focused on the microfinance sector. So we allow issuers or borrowers to raise financing from a minimum of only 1,000 ringgit up to a maximum of 50,000 ringgit, anywhere for 6 months or up to 36 months.
Can you give me not an example, but was there a spark why you suddenly decided to start doing this? I mean, a lot of people could or could not go to a bank to get loans from a bank. They may not want to pay their interest. Or they may have struggles paying their interest. Why did you decide to launch microLEAP?
Well, I was an evil banker for most of my life, so to speak. So after...
I love the honesty.
Yes, exactly. So after about 15 years in the banking business, I wanted to strike out on my own and do something that had an impact in people's lives. So I looked at microfinance because in microfinancing, a small amount of funds has a big impact on the livelihoods of the business or the people that are running it. So that is why our tagline is small steps, big impact. So when I was looking to start a microfinance company, I noticed that the Securities Commission Malaysia was regulating P2P, peer-to-peer. So I thought that would be a great avenue for investors or lenders who can come in and crowd fund these small financing amounts into these small businesses and help them take to the next step.
I mean, it's very popular in some countries. I know it's hugely popular in China, for example. Did you take any inspiration from anywhere or look at other examples around the world which you thought might be a good framework to start with?
Yeah, I looked around, but China isn't the best place to emulate, because in China it wasn't strongly regulated. There were many P2P operators that were unlicensed and unregulated, mushrooming around, so that people invested in these companies and then never got their money back. In Malaysia, Malaysia was the first country in ASEAN to regulate it. So I thought that was a great place to be in. And we looked at other places. We looked at UK and US, where it's very popular, and also in other parts around the region.
Matthew,
so
you seem to want to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add as well, there's the personal financing is not allowed under Securities Commission regulations, and that I think also helped set Malaysia apart. And I'm glad that was the case, because personal financing in China and even in India, P2P, that was what really caused the collapse. So strictly business financing, working capital, business expansion. That's how it should be, and I'm glad that's the case here.
Right, and that's actually why I used the example of China, because I know it hasn't been the most secure of places. The next question there, would your model of lending, would you consider it like unsecured loans?
Yes, for us it's unsecured. So what we do to have some form of security is that we have a very strict credit algorithm that goes through our platform. So we take data points from a credit bureau that we use, and also through figures and information that investors put in through their application form. But we also use psychometric testing. Now, the reason we use psychometric testing is that these micro enterprises that we're trying to help may not have a strong credit history. So for them to go to bank without this kind of credit history that is required, they will simply be denied straight away. So we are looking at alternative credit scores. So we have tied up with a third-party platform that provides psychometric testing. And that psychometric testing data feeds into a credit algorithm so that will give us a microLEAP credit score. So this microLEAP credit score, go ahead.
Can you tell me a little bit about the testing? Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So basically, it is 20 or 30 questions that the issuer or borrower, the main key person, has to do the test. So basically, 2 images come up, and you have to choose: are you more likely to do A or more likely to B? Once all the answers have been filled in, then our third-party provider will give us a detailed report of the ability or the propensity for a borrower or issuer to pay back the funds.
Very interesting. Why did you decide to do it that way?
Because we looked at, for us, credit data is key to build a credit history and to know if this, makcik in Kuala Pilah can actually pay back her funds. So we wanted to get as much credit data as possible. And, being a micro enterprise, someone who maybe sells nasi goreng on the side of the road, someone who does, sells cookies down in Johor Bahru, they may not have that credit history. So we need to have more data points to give an overall picture. And that's why we looked at this alternative type of scoring method.
I also would like to add a little bit on that, because the good thing about this alternative credit scoring is for the thin files or micro entrepreneurs, as Tunggu Danny touched on, because at least with the alternative credit scoring, which the likes of CGC as well as Bank Islam and Bank Rakyat, local players, institutions are using, it is something for us that's really complementary on and giving a proper overall credit score before we move forward with all our micro enterprises.
I mean, a lot of the other lenders would use things like collateral, and I suppose when you're looking at, MacChick, she probably won't have any collateral to kind of rely on at any point.
Correct. So that's why we definitely went to use psychometric testing, because you don't have to post collateral on our platform, and it gives an overall picture of your willingness to pay back your financing, which is very key.
All right, let's take a short break. Tunku Danny and Matthew, and we'll be back in just a few moments. You are tuned in to Open for Business here on BFM. My name is Rich Bradbury. We are speaking with Tunku Danny and Matthew Fernandez from microLEAP. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on BFM 89.9.
Bagi free minum. BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, the business station. My name is Rich Bradbury. You are tuned in to Open for Business. On the phone, I'm with Tunku Danny Muzaffar. He is the microLEAP CEO, alongside Matthew Fernandez. He is the COO over there. If you're only just joining us, microLEAP launched their Islamic Investment Notes, Islamic Financing, in April 2020 to help SMEs and micro businesses hit by COVID-19. And since then, the funds disbursed to micro enterprises hosted on the platform have grown more than 1,000% in just 5 months. Guys, What we want to talk about now is, have you seen kind of much socially conscious investment? You know, I mean, you talk about how you've helped businesses thrive during COVID-19, help them out a little bit, but have you looked at, you know, groups of people who actually come together and said, we want to help this individual particularly, or we want to help this kind of NGO particularly? Have you seen anything like that?
Well, we've seen an increase in investors definitely looking for impact investments. That's what microLEAP is all about. And added to that, we have a lot of people looking for Islamic investments because that's what we're about as well. But we don't only just get Muslim investors, we also get Chinese and Indian investors as well. The reason we get that is that Islamic principles and ethical principles actually go hand in hand. So a lot of our investors are looking at ethical investments. You know, if you want to raise via Shariah-Compliant Financing, you know, we don't allow alcohol companies, tobacco companies, gambling companies. So many of our investors are looking in terms of helping, you know, these impact investments on these ethical type companies. So we do see an increase in these kind of investors looking for ethical investments on our platform.
Right. And who, at the end of the day, kind of has the overall say about whether or not somebody receives funds? You know, how difficult are those decisions to make?
Yes, it is difficult. We have to make sure that they go through our strict credit risk scoring process. The last thing we want to do is be an irresponsible lender. You know, we don't want to be an along out there who just lends because they want high returns. Right? We need to make sure that this micro enterprise or this micro business, it can afford the financing and is able to pay back the financing from month one. The last thing we want to do is to allow our P2P investors to come in and then invest into a business that's going to be out of business in the next 2 months.
I would like to add as well, like the main thing is we want to look for companies that did a pivot, you know, that, and like, you know, exactly what TD has mentioned. The main thing is you got to jaga hati the issuer, which is the borrower, but you also got to jaga hati the investors. You know, you got to make sure that the investors' investments are taken care of and mitigated as much as we've done. You know, because we also do have a kind of like a financial inclusive logic of microinsurance to help protect the principal. So that's something that a bit of a value add that microLEAP does. You know, so at least in the event, say a food truck driver broke his arm, can't drive the food truck, can't pay back the financing, that's where the microinsurance kicks in at no extra cost. microLEAP absorbs the premiums.
I mean, that's something obviously I was going to talk about as well. You know, stuff like, you know, credit risk and how do you manage that credit risk? I mean, I was reading about people who were borrowing and companies that were borrowing over in Poland, you know, and they just essentially, they signed up for these kind of funds. They got what they needed and they essentially just disappeared. What would happen in a situation like that?
So we have a default management process in place on microLEAP's platform. So first of all, for us, default management begins at the credit risk scoring stage. So we at first have to make sure that the investment notes or the micro enterprises that we host on our platform actually is making revenue, is making profit, because at the end of the day, it's a debt instrument. So for all debt instruments, you have to pay back straight away, especially on the first month, you know, because we allow monthly payments. So that's our first level of default management process. Only entities that can afford the financing is allowed to be hosted on our platform. So the second level is that normally they have a 7-day grace period for paying back their monthly installments. After that, we will charge them a 1% penalty per day on the monthly installment amount. And then if they don't pay back by 30 days, we actually call that the business is in default. Now, the reason we allow it really quickly, 30 days to be in default, is we want to get into the conversation with this micro enterprise in terms of, you know, why can't you pay back? Do you have any issues on your end? How can we help? We do allow our micro enterprises to restructure their financing. So what we do is we will extend the tenor of their financing so that they have to pay less per month. You know, if you extend the tenor, they pay less per month because you're dividing the amount you owe over a longer period.
Now,
Right.
it's a win-win for the P2P investors because at the end of the day, the P2P investors get more in terms of profit or interest if it's conventional, so that I know both sides are happy. P2P investors, they're getting more profit at the end of the day. The issuers or borrowers, they have to pay less per month, so they can manage their monthly cash flow as it is.
1,000% growth in just 5 months, right? Where do you see yourselves? What lofty goals do you have for 2021?
Well, 2021, so we are always, how it works in microLEAP is there's always supply and demand. Okay, the supply are the P2P investors lending out the financing, and the demand side are the issuers who needs the financing. On the demand side, the issuers, we have a healthy pipeline of growth. For us, is to build that strong kind of treasure chest of P2P investors that are willing to finance these companies. So we're constantly going to, right now, we've looked at retail investors. Our next level is looking at corporates and institutional investors who are looking to believe in our story and want to help all these micro enterprises grow the businesses. So our target for 2021 is pretty lofty. We want to at least hit a financing disperse of between 5 million to 10 million ringgit. So 1 million is just the start of it. As I told my team, we got to keep going and going because I want 5 million, 10 million to 10 million in end of 2021.
Do you see more people borrowing in 2021 than they were in 2020?
Yes, I think so. Obviously, COVID has hit them in a bad way. But because of COVID, actually, we had to be a little bit more tighter in terms of our credit risk analysis. The last thing we want to do is, as I said before, to help get our P2P investors investing in a company that's going to be bankrupt in the next month or two. So as Matthew touched on, we looked at companies that maybe have gone online, both online and offline business, so that they can survive these testing times. But we do see that more borrowers will hear about microLEAP and come onto our platform.
Also, I'd like to add, we would like to also target the social enterprises. That's people that we really want to help as well, because that's in line with our impact investment, basically motto with microLEAP. And I think to touch on what Tung Danny has mentioned on Islamic P2P for microLEAP, one good thing is that we make sure that the cost variable is whether you invest in a conventional or an Islamic note, because we absorb the brokerage fees, then you as an investor you get back principal plus profit or principal plus interest for conventional at any given credit rating. But at the same token, the issuers themselves, like we always say, we are converting them from conventional to Islamic, because since they are not paying any extra cost, they're more than happy. And we have a really funny video to show which is halal and which is haram, which I think we'll post on our website soon, and that will basically tell you it's on. I mean, we have everything on our FAQs, but the good thing is with this simple, easy to know that if you're not on the Sharia advisory Securities Commission's non-Sharia compliant list, you'll be able to raise Islamic and no issues on the costing. Most of the MSMEs that we talk to, that's the first thing they ask. How much do I pay? Any extra cost? And then we're like, no, we're taking care of that. They're like, oh, then fantastic, convert me. So extra pala for all of us. So if that's for lack of a better word, I'm not sure. But
great stuff. Great stuff. Final question then, guys, Tangku Danny and Matthew. Where can people find out more about you, whether or not they want to invest or whether or not they want to borrow?
Yeah, so they can go to our platform, which is www.microleapasia.com. And there you will have a lot of information of if you want to be an investor, and you can join our League of Extraordinary Investors, which is basically you get points for more investment notes you invest in, and the longer tenor type notes that you invest in, you get more points. And if you're an issuer or borrower, please go on the same website, microleapasia.com, and you'll find out how to apply and the documents you require, and the kind of business funding calculator will give you a kind of taste of how much you have to pay back a month, so you know exactly how much is going to cost you.
Great. Tunku Dani and Matthew Fernandez, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me this morning.
Thank you very much, Richard. It was great.
You have been tuned in to Open for Business here on Enterprise on BFM 89.9. I've been speaking with Tunku Dani and Matthew Fernandez from microLEAP Malaysia. They're an Islamic and Conventional P2P, peer-to-peer microfinancing platform regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia, one of only 11 here in Malaysia. Stay tuned. After these messages, we'll have more coming up here on BFM 89.9, the business station.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Tunku Dani, saya pengasas dan CEO of microLEAP. Come, this is our office. Okay, come this way. I'd like to introduce you to my operations team. This is Azwani.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
And this here is Izati.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
And over here we have my very own Matthew Fernandez, our Chief Operating Officer.
Hi guys.
And here is the hot seat. This is where the CEO sits, which is myself. Come this way. Over here we have Hami, who is in compliance.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
And, oh, the phone's ringing. And lastly, we have our Chief Marketing Officer. Where is he?
I'm here. Alright guys, Assalamualaikum everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Alright. So come, let's get started. Matthew, take a seat. Okay, how's everyone doing today on CMCO? First day. Hope everyone is following the SOPs, putting on their mask and sanitizing as much as they can. Seeing as I know Matt pretty well, who is right here next to me. Hi, Matt.
Hi guys. Always good to follow SOPs. Kita jaga kita. Hashtag.
That's right. Okay, but since we seem to be okay, I'll take off my mask just for this presentation. So hi, my name is Tunku Dani Nasifuddin Muzaffar. I am the founder and CEO of microLEAP, and welcome to our office. As you can see, it's a pretty small office. We only have 6 people, including 2 operations team, 1 compliance, 1 chief marketing officer, 1 chief operating officer. Hi, that's Mazuki, our CMO, and myself, the CEO. So before we begin, let's just start off with a video so you know exactly what we're about. Okay? Okay, let me get this up. Looking for alternative financing you can trust? You'll find it right here at microLEAP. Islamic and Conventional P2P Microfinancing. Get access to card-sourced funds. microLEAP provides personal accident insurance, online debt management and accounting video training at no extra cost. Okay, let's get back to it. Right, so just a quick introduction. So as it states before, microLEAP is an Islamic and conventional peer-to-peer microfinancing platform. So we assist micro enterprises raise P2P financing from as little as 1,000 ringgit up to 50,000 ringgit. So how it works is that these micro businesses, small businesses, normally in the B40 group, who needs, for example, my favorite example is my makcik in Kuala Pilah that needs 10,000 ringgit for a kedai runcit. She may raise P2P financing from 100 or so P2P investors. Now these P2P investors are actually the lenders who are financing these small businesses,
And in return, they will get a profit rate if it's Islamic and an interest rate if it's conventional. Let me just bring you a quick video just so that you know what it's all about. Looking for alternative investments that provide better returns than fixed deposits? Try P2P Financing with microLEAP. So, what are the steps? Go onto our website and create an account. Choose Become an Investor. Fill in the applicant details including full name, IC and date of birth. Scan or take a picture of the front and back of your IC. Choose Files and Upload. Then either upload a scanned copy of your bank statement or transfer RM1 online from your bank account. Agree and click the agreement, TNC and privacy policy. Click submit and wait for us to carry out our checks. Once due diligence has been carried out, you're approved. Add to your available balance by FEX or online transfer, or by cash deposit, check or bank transfer. Go to the funding list and search for investment notes. Find the returns and tenors that suits you. Click on the investment note to find out more about the issuer or borrower. Once you like what you see, choose your amount and click Invest Now. Or choose Auto Invest and select your criteria so that you don't miss out on any investments. Here's your term sheet which details your trade. And you have 24 hours to retract your investment if you change your mind. The payment schedule tells you when you receive your payments. Regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia. Happy investing! Right, as you can see, it's pretty simple to apply on our platform and become an investor. And what is great is that your investments are making a huge impact to all these businesses that require their working capital needs. So with that, Matt, maybe you can just talk to us about our issuers. What are they and how does it all work?
All right, so our issuers are quite wide-ranging. We are sector agnostic, that's quite important to know. We have from your Pisang Goreng Saleh and JB, right up to thankfully a Negeri issuer as well, right smack on Malaysia Day where we got all our issuers from every state. So that's something we're really proud of. But yeah, mainly we're looking at from your PKS Micro right up to SMEs as well. So that's because our sweet spot is between 1,000 and 50,000. And 6 to 36 months. Please? Yep.
Okay. Sorry, that voice is that's our Chief Marketing Officer Marzuki. Yes, Marzuki, what do you want to ask?
Okay, most important as an issuer, if you pay late, what's going to happen?
Okay, just a quick one. Obviously now it's COVID, so it's been quite tough for most of our issuers and everyone in between. But main thing is there is a 7-day grace period, and on day 30 we call our default management process is on day 30 is default. So since we called we want to have the conversation as early as possible, and on day 52, if things are still not progressing well, that's when we have to get in our debt recovery agency, and day 90 is the legal. But of course, the advantage and I think our main strength in microLEAP is we care a lot about our issuers, and we have the conversation as early as possible, because we rather not have any issuer go into default, and we definitely take care of our issuers' needs and adjust accordingly.
So what we normally do, the reason that we have our default process on day 30, considered default, which is much earlier than many of the other P2P operators, is that we want to have the conversation with the issuer as early as possible. You know, they may have issues, short term. Right now they may not have the funds, but they will for that down the line. So what we can do is look to have the conversation, see how we can help them, see how we can restructure the financing. So what we normally do, we look to extend the maturity of the financing. So, for example, if a issuer is financed for 12 months, if we extend it to 24 months, it's a win-win for everyone. So basically, the issuer has to pay less every month, but in the long run, all the P2P investors get more profit if it's Islamic, or more interest if it's conventional by the end of the extended period.
Also, can you just explain how do you apply as an issuer?
Yeah, so what we do in terms of how we apply as an issuer, the first thing we can do is just show you a quick video and you will understand more. So just give me 2 seconds. Here we go. Are you a small business owner looking for alternative financing? Try P2P financing with microLEAP. So what do you need to do? Go on to our website and create an account. Then choose Raise Funds. Fill in your funding details, including funding amount, tenor, and purpose of funds. Start by filling in your business details in our easy-to-follow steps. You will need to have a guarantor for this financing. Simply scan or take a picture and upload your identification documents. Then upload your business bank and financial statements. If your revenue goes into your personal account, upload your personal bank statement. Next, upload other supporting documents that you think might help with your application. Also, upload your business premise photos and make sure it is attractive enough for us to feature on our platform. Then agree and click the agreement, T&C and privacy policy. And click submit and wait for our team to carry out our checks. You will also need to complete a psychometric test that measures your willingness to pay your installments. Once we have completed our credit checks, you are approved for financing. You will then need to fill out a simple Q&A so that P2P investors know what your business is about, like the reason for financing and future plans. Then your investment note will be featured on our funding list, ready for investment. You have 30 days to raise your funds, and once your note is successfully filled, we will disperse your financing direct into your bank account. Remember to keep track with your monthly payment due dates. Thank you for choosing microLEAP. Good luck! Okay, so one of the things that is what microLEAP is all about is impact. Okay, how can your investments impact these micro enterprises? So it's all about value add. So maybe Matt, you can discuss about what value adds things that we have on our platform.
Yeah, sure. There's plenty that sets us aside. The key thing is it's actually a mitigation for both the issuer and the investor would be group personal accident insurance. So that micro insurance that we provide, at no extra cost, by the way, to either the investor or the issuer, is that in the event, say the food truck driver, as we're looking to onboard these guys, gets into an accident, breaks his arm, or if he passed away, no matter which way, say he's got 40,000 left of his 50,000 financing, the entire 40,000 principal is covered by our microinsurance partner, and the premiums are covered by microLEAP. That'll be one of the main ones. We also provide basic debt management accounting training, also at no extra cost.
That's online video training.
Yeah, online video training. In English and BM, very important to note. So at least these guys have a feel and also understand how to do the bookkeeping. Actual issuers on our platform have actually commented that they've improved so much because before it's just Buku 555, which all Malaysians are very aware of. And now they can actually are comfortable to actually use the Excel formats that we provided because now they know basic bookkeeping, basic debt management, and we make sure that they pass all these modules before they receive their financing, which is really important, whether Islamic or conventional. Also, the other value add we have is we have Grameen group financing as well. That's also unique to us. So we have a group of 5 issuers, which must be from the same kampong or same district. Because it can't work if, say, 2 are in Sabah and the other 3 are in Kelantan. That obviously won't work. Because there has to be that peer support, peer pressure system in place. Because that's when, if, say, one of the issuers are having trouble in paying their repayments for the month, the other 4 can help cover for that month. Similar to what the Grameen model, basically, we're digitizing aspects of the Grameen model, and which is very successful in one of our partners, Ikhtiar Malaysia here.
So the reason that we provide this online video trading, because the sector that we are trying to target is the micro enterprises. These are majority B40 or bottom 40% income group, B40 owned businesses that may not have access previously to the correct type of education. So financial literacy is a major issue for them. None of them really know profit and loss statement. None of them know how to do a balance sheet. Now, what we provide at first is a simple Excel sheet when they fill in their application form, where these micro enterprises can fill in all the figures from their Buku 555 or pieces of paper onto this Excel sheet, and it automatically calculates the sales and profit for them. So they can see every month where they are. They also have to fill in the figures on the balance sheet Excel sheet, and it automatically calculates the figures for them as well. Now, the online video training is very important because we have to make sure that these micro enterprises, when they receive the funds, they know what to do with it. So we give them modules on basic debt management, we give them modules on what is P2P, and we give them modules on basic bookkeeping.
Also, for the Islamic bit, which is also something we're really trying to push, the Islamic digital economy, is that we absorb the commodity brokerage fees. Because, and Datuk Dani will definitely elaborate later on microLEAP Islamic and what we offer. But the main takeaway I want to give is that's a huge competitive advantage for microLEAP, because there's, again, no extra cost to the issuer or the investor. And that's also been, I think, what's really pushed us in this last year or so.
Yeah, I think I can elaborate further on that. So the reason that I find sometimes that the take-up for Islamic finance is pretty low is that conventional costs are much cheaper than Islamic. For example, in Takaful, right? Takaful premiums, excuse me, are much higher than conventional premiums for the same type of insurance product that you are requesting. So what we do for a conventional financing amount is at the exact same cost as for an Islamic financing amount. And how we do that is that microLEAP actually absorbs the brokerage fee for the commodity murabaha, which I can explain later. Maybe I want to go back to the investors, Matt. When you see investors, there's always a disconnect between what investors want and what the issuers want. What you find is that investors, they want to invest short term, and the issuers, they want to get financed long term. The reason is, when they get financed long term, their monthly installments are much smaller compared to if they squeezed it in a shorter tenor. So what we have actually come up with, which I absolutely love, is the League of Extraordinary Investors. Now, in this league, you get points for diversification. Okay, you get points for investing longer tenors. You get points for large amounts, and you get points for having multiple notes per month, which will encourage diversification of your risk. So as soon as you invest, you get on our League of Extraordinary Investors league table, and you can click on the league and find out exactly where you are.
So Gurani, can you just do a demo on the website?
Okay, let me just show you our platform right now. So if you can see, this is our homepage. Our website is both in English as well as Bahasa Malaysia. All you have to do is just click on BM and it will change to our Bahasa Malaysia website. So you go back to English. This is the homepage. If you scroll down, these are current statistics. I'm proud to say that we have 0% default rate at the moment, and we have 26 fully funded notes. But if you go down to see the league, this is our league of extraordinary investors. So on the right here, you can see who is in the top 5. Obviously, you won't show your name outright, but you will be told your unique ID, so you can see. So every month in what you can receive is the top 3 for every month will get cash prizes. Matt, what's our cash prizes?
For monthly, it's 100, 50, and 20.
Okay, and you also get
for yearly. Don't
yearly.
forget to add on yearly. It's for 500 for first prize,
Yep.
300 for second prize, and 100 for third prize.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
So these are prizes. So monthly winners, 100 ringgit, 50 ringgit, and 20 ringgit. Annual grand prizes are 500 ringgit, 300 ringgit to 100 ringgit. Okay, so we have quite a number of people really looking at this, seeing where they are every month in the league. You know, if you click on this button, you can find out who the winners are, and also who the losers are. There we go.
I just thought it was just for show, right? It's not real losers.
Yeah.
But also, what's really important is the fact that the higher your ranking, the lower your fees. You know?
Yeah. So basically, you're working towards lower fees. So your points will increase, and you go through levels of rookie, apprentice, champion, and lastly Sifu. So when you hit champion level, your fees go down, and when you hit Sifu level, you will get the lowest fees as an investor on our platform.
And it'll be flat till
lifetime.
Till lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
One more thing, Tekudani and Matt. Since we're talking about investors, can you give some tips on how to invest on microLEAP? What's your advice?
Okay, so in terms as an investor, the strategy for every single P2P investor is diversification. Okay, now in the P2P market space, okay, default rates range from 1% to 10%. So we do have P2P operators that actually have a default rate of 10%, which means 10% of their investment notes have defaulted. Now for us, we are at 0% default rate. Reason being is that we're very young and we have a very strict credit criteria. But we try to manage this risk by having a target of between 0 to 3% default rate. That really is our target, and we want to keep at the moment. So when you diversify, if you have 1,000 ringgit to spend, for example, you know, split that up, split that into investments of between 50 to 100 ringgit. Okay, try to invest in as many notes as you can, so that in the event of a default, only a certain percentage of your notes go bad.
Also, all our notes have a guarantor, which is very important. So that is something as how we can mitigate other than the PA insurance that covers your principal. And what else will be good?
There's no sub fees? Remember?
Yep, no sub-hidden fees. That's one. That's true. Thanks, Zuki. That's important. And yeah, that's I think also, as Danny touched on it, is the fact that this is really attractive for both, and actually in particular the Islamic investors, because we definitely keep everything transparent. Whatever you see on our website, whatever you see on our funding calculator, I think which we can go through, what you see there is what you we are fully transparent. What you see is what you get.
Matt, why not you explain what our fees are for issuers and investors, and on top of that, maybe just give us elaborate on how the credit score works.
Okay, for the fees for the investor, as already mentioned, and Danny touched on the league, is that we start at 2, but you work your way down.
A 2% one-off fee. So you get charged a 2% one-off fee. So for every single investment, we just charge you 2% one-off, even if it's 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. It's just a 2% one-off fee. But as Matt said before, you are working towards getting lower fees. So the more points you get, eventually you will hit lower fees, down to 1.5% when you're a champion, and down to 1% when you become Sifu level.
Yep. Issuers, likewise, we charge a one-off fee of 8%. So in the event, say it's a 3-year tenor, that actually works out to only 2.67 a year. We don't have any recurring fees after that. Likewise for the investor as well. If it's 2% one-off fee for a 3-year tenor, it's actually 0.67. So it's not that high.
Yeah. So our issue fees are an 8% one-off fee, and that it's quite minimal compared to if you take it for the 3-year tenor.
Yeah.
Now, maybe we can speak about impact. So we're all about impact. That's why as you can see, our logo is small steps, big impact. And that is why we focus on the B40 micro enterprises. The reason is a small amount of money will have a large impact on these micro enterprises which we are trying to help. So maybe just give us a few examples who we have helped, Matt.
Yeah, off the bat, immediately is Bonpa from JB, a pisang goreng seller. That family business actually is very close to my house in Johor, so I know exactly where they are. But more importantly, they were basically in business for over 30 years. I grew up even cycling there, I know exactly, but as I mentioned. But more importantly, they were just got registered over a year ago. So obviously when it comes to getting a banking working capital facility, that was not happening. They came to us, just a bunch of investors from as little as some were 10 ringgit, 50 ringgit, right up to a couple of thousand, funded their investment note of nearly 20,000 ringgit. And the changes that they did to the shop just because of this one investment is huge. Now that entire place looks so new. We have the before and afters. Actually, Zuki has shared it to all our current investors, and once you jump on our bandwagon, we'll share you all these success stories, because basically we want to show you that as little bit of an investment you did goes a long way for these guys, because they are really creditworthy. Because we've done our checks, we're very stringent, but more importantly, we knew that they pivoted during COVID. So they had Grab, Foodpanda. We knew that they're doing well, and thankfully they are one of the early repayment issuers that we have as well.
So in terms of who we've helped, we've helped a cookie seller in Johor. We've helped a chocolatier in Langkawi who sells chocolate in Langkawi. We've also helped a ayam salai seller selling ayam salai.
What's this place? The halal confectionery guy. He's
so we have someone who sells from the house, halal confectionery on Lazada and Shopee. Now, let's go back to COVID-19 and how it's actually impacted our business. So you find that during COVID-19, it was stressful for everyone, especially when MCO came out in March. And what we found is, unfortunately, because of that, we had a lot of issuers coming in that were desperate for funds. Now, at microLEAP, because this is P2P financing, we always have to balance two sides of the coin. Okay, one side you have the P2P investors, and the other side you have the issuers. So we have to make sure that the issuers that we host on our platform will still be in business in a month's time, in 2 months' time. So what we look for are micro enterprises that have either pivoted online or have a side business where they're selling online. So for example, your Bunpa pisang goreng seller, she sells both on offline and online.
And click.
Click and mortar. The lady who sells cookies, she sells both in a shop as well as offline through online means. We have people who sell bundle clothes through Facebook, through WhatsApp. Shopee. And these are all these small micro enterprises who have understood that they have to pivot to an online business. They sometimes sell through Facebook, sometimes sell through WhatsApp. Instagram. They don't have to sell through Shopee and Lazada. They have other ways to get online. So these are the kind of micro enterprises that we are very keen to help, and we encourage, if any of you micro enterprises that are looking for small amounts, that have got some kind of online business, to please apply. And the best is having an online offline business.
Yeah.
Also, to add on, an investor who wants to make an impact on their investment, correct?
Exactly. So those investors who actually want to have an impact on these businesses, please come in, become an investor. Minimum investment amount is only 50 ringgit, and we also give you a 10 ringgit free credit which you can use on our platform.
And for every referral, you also get 10 ringgit. Both are microLEAP credits that you can use on our platform only, not to withdraw. We are not some Tunai Rakyat wallet from the government, So make sure that it's the 10 ringgit is utilized on microLEAP.
Can you also add on what type of investors that we're looking for?
So the type of investors that we have. So the investors is split into kind of three kind of categories.
Yeah.
One are the retail investors. These are you, me, anyone from the public who wants to get returns that are better than EPF, that are better than ASB. Okay, our average returns are anywhere between 10 to 15% per annum. EPF, their returns is about 5.5% at the moment. ASB is about 5% as well. Fixed deposit with Bank Negara Malaysia slashing interest rates is anywhere between 1.75 to 2% per annum. So very low interest environment we're living in. Because of that, alternative investments is key for your portfolio if you really want to grow. So give P2P financing a try. Now let's talk about the types of financing that we have. So we have two types of financing on microLEAP. One is conventional financing, and two is Islamic financing. So what we have found, we went live in October 2019, and we were live with conventional only, and we were slowly growing, but not as quickly as I wanted to. We were live with our Islamic financing in April 2020, and this is when our investment notes actually started kicking off, isn't it?
Yep.
What we found is that people are seeking Islamic assets. People have a strong need for Islamic assets. And because we're the one of a few players in Malaysia that offer Islamic P2P investments or Islamic P2P financing, we were actually starting a big growth rate in terms of investors coming on board and our investment notes being filled. So in terms of our Islamic investments, it is based on commodity murabaha, which is based on the Shariah principle of tawarruk. So how it works is for every Shariah-compliant financing, there's a commodity trade on the back of each financing. So how it makes it Islamic is that you are buying and selling commodities, and you have a deferred payment structure on the back of it, so that at the end of it, you're not paying interest, you're actually paying profit on that commodity. Now, this commodity murabaha or tawarruk arrangement has been approved by our Sharia advisors and also been approved by the Sharia Advisory Council of the Securities Commission. Now, commodity murabaha is also used by many banks, which is approved by Bank Negara Malaysia. So we follow and adhere to very strict Shariah-compliant rules when we talk about our Shariah-compliant investments and our Shariah-compliant financing. Now, having said that, it doesn't matter who the investor is when you're investing into a Shariah-compliant investment note. You don't have to be a Muslim to invest in a Shariah-compliant investment note. As long as you believe in ethical principles based on Islamic teachings, for example, no gambling, no cigarettes, no alcohol. These are very ethical principles that can be found in Islam and also in Islamic financing. So if you believe in ethical, features or ethical processes in place, then encourage you to invest in microLEAP and become a P2P investor.
Also, just to add on, is the fact that transparency. We are fully transparent, no hidden fees. We absorb the brokerage fees, which is very important. So that's where we've made it a level playing field now. So whether you invest in Islamic or conventional, your interest for conventional, if it's principal plus interest for conventional or principal plus profit for Islamic, remains the same. And everything's actually found on our website via the funding calculator.
That's right. So basically for every given credit rating of microLEAP, be it conventional or Islamic, the interest rate or profit rate is exactly the same. The costs are exactly the same. So there's no reason for you to choose conventional. You can choose Islamic because most of our investor base are all looking for Islamic assets. So actually we've converted quite a few issuers that are looking for conventional, but when you told them that there's no cost switching to Islamic and you are not on the non-Sharia compliant list that we have, then we had many people looking for Islamic financing, isn't it?
Both issuers and of course investors also. Good pickup on both sides.
Yeah. The time, how much time we have? It looks like we're 35 minutes.
We've got 5 minutes left. Maybe you can do a little demo on the calculation on the web browser.
Psychometrics as well.
Meanwhile, you can talk about psychometrics, right?
Okay, yeah. So to add on how we do our credit scoring, very important bit of our credit scoring because as we know, quite a lot of the PKS micro, they call it the thin files because basically they have either no credit history or hardly any credit history. That's where the psychometric testing comes in. It's available in all languages, one of our UNCDF partners actually. So that actually helped a lot because so far we can even with our own new data within this last 1 year, we can clearly see that the ones who scored well on our psychometric testing are actually really good paymasters, good issuers that we had on board. And if they did score badly, that actually affects their overall credit score at microLEAP. And that is actually something I think Dr. Danny can help illustrate as well or elaborate.
Yeah, so basically psychometric testing is an alternative credit scoring method because as Matthew said, not the credit history for many of our micro enterprises, our B40 owned businesses, they don't have a strong credit score. So when they go to a bank, they find it very difficult to get a bank loan. Now, because we are alternative financing, right? We take care of the businesses that fall through the cracks of traditional banking. We help these micro enterprises get access to financing through our platform. And one of the ways that we credit score them is this alternative scoring method, which we said was psychometric testing, which measures the willingness or ability for an issuer to repay the financing. So with that, maybe we can just give you a little bit taster of our business funding calculator. Yep. So as an issuer, if you scroll down to our business funding calculator, you can straight away see how much your monthly payments are. So for example, in this case, 10,000 ringgit at 12% per annum, at 12 months funding tenor, you have to pay 900 ringgit 33 a month. But if you increase that to 24 months, automatically it calculates that you only have to pay 517 ringgit a month. If you increase your tenor to 36 months, you only have to pay 378 ringgit a month.
Also important bit, whether you do 6, 12, 24 or 36, if you notice the hosting fee, that's where it remains the same.
Yeah, as you said before, the hosting fee is an 8% one-off fee. So it doesn't matter the tenor that you choose. Yeah. So you can play around with the sliders, you can go all the way up to find out how much 20,000 is going to cost me per month. It's 756 ringgit a month. I can go all the way down to 50,000. That's going to cost me 1,889 ringgit a month.
Dr. Danny, can you just show how the funding list looks like?
Okay, so as a P2P investor, you want to see what investment notes are available out there. So you go down to the funding list, you click on here. It will take you to the page of all the live notes we have. So for example, there's VX Garage, Tanah Merah. He is looking for 24 months at 12% per annum, and the business is based in Kelantan. He's got 26 days left, and he's 61% funded already. So you click on the investment note. It brings up even more information. For example, is this a Shariah-Compliant Investment Note? All our Q&A is both in English and in BM. So it's yes,
find out what the business does. It's questions on who is the owner, key person. You get questions on what their future plans, what's their annual sales turnover, number of years business, and lastly, at the end, we have a rationale behind the issuer's credit risk score, which is our own comments. This is key. It just gives you a bit of flavor of why this is a medium risk 5, MR5. And so it helps you make a bit of an informed decision of when you want to invest. So when you do want to invest, you will go on to the slider here. So he needs up to 7,240. So minimum investment is 50 ringgit. You can play around, say it goes to 500. Now I'm not logged in as an investor, but if you are logged in as an investor, you will click here and you'll simply invest, and you have 24 hours to retract your investment in case you think there's an issue or you had fat fingers and you want to retract.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I think we've now done 40 minutes of our first ever webinar. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you,
You've been a great co-host. And Mazuki, maybe you can come in finally.
See you guys.
That's Mazuki over there.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
So thank you very much. With that, we will just say goodbye.
Happy investing.
Happy investing and stay safe.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Kami telah memulakan perniagaan kami dah 10 tahun sekarang. Kami mulakan pada tahun 2011. Dan kami mempunyai satu pasukan dengan kekuatan lebih kurang 47 orang, di mana kami mempunyai call center dan juga kami mempunyai staff management dan marketing yang besar. Dan kami fokus kepada barangan otomotif. Tapi barangan otomotif seperti minyak enjin atau barang-barang servis terutamanya. Kami tidak menjual barang-barang spare part yang besar. Dan kami fokus pada barangan yang laju, fast moving items ya. Saya mulakan perniagaan ini dengan sendiri 10 tahun lepas disebabkan oleh pengalaman saya dalam industri otomotif dan minyak enjin. Kami memilih platform P2P disebabkan oleh mudah. Itu salah satu cara yang kami anggap sangat mudah berbanding dengan cara untuk dapatkan dana untuk membesarkan perniagaan kami dengan cara tradisional atau konvensional seperti bank dan organisasi lain. So menggunakan kaedah P2P, kami dapat mendapatkan dana tu dengan lebih cepat dan lebih mudah mengikut proses, dan ia membantu kami mengembangkan perniagaan kami di seluruh Malaysia. Pembiayaan Islamik selepas kami membuat perbandingan, of course sebelum kami mulakan funding menggunakan konsep Islamik, kami membuat perbandingan, dan selepas perbandingan kami mendapati ianya agak murah daripada segi kos pemprosesannya, lebih tertakluk kepada microLEAP sendiri, dan kami hanya perlu membayar apa yang kami meminjam. So di sana kami dapat menjimatkan sangat banyak kos berbanding dengan cara konvensional ya. Kami tidak mengalami apa-apa kemunduran selama kami bekerjasama dengan microLEAP. Semua proses yang semua application yang kami letak adalah agak cepat, dan kami tidak mengalami apa-apa masalah. Kami sebagai satu syarikat mempunyai satu target di mana kami ingin ada 1,000 cawangan di seluruh negara. Hari ini kami mempunyai 365 cawangan di seluruh negara, dan 14 daripada itu adalah dapat menggunakan kaedah funding daripada microLEAP. So kami akan menggunakan kemudahan ini untuk membantu mengembangkan perniagaan kami seluruh Malaysia pada kadar 1,000 outlet seluruh Malaysia ya.
Semuanya mudah dengan microLEAP, permohonan yang mudah dan laman web yang mesra pengguna. Dengan dana yang diperolehi daripada microLEAP, bekalan stok ber tangan dapat dipertingkatkan. Ini selaras dengan permintaan yang tinggi dari pelanggan. Harapan saya agar microLEAP dapat membantu peniaga-peniaga SME seperti saya untuk mendapatkan pembiayaan perniagaan. Sekali lagi, jutaan terima kasih kepada microLEAP.
My name is Tunku Dani Nasifuddin Muzaffar. I'm the founder and CEO of microLEAP. microLEAP is an Islamic and Conventional P2P microfinancing platform regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia. So we help micro enterprises that may find it difficult to raise funds from the traditional banking system. So we are an alternative financing platform that helps these micro enterprises raise anywhere from 1,000 ringgit up to 50,000 ringgit. So everything is done online, nothing is physical, so it is easy and quick, and we are able to reach out to everywhere within the whole of Malaysia. One of the things that we found, which the Securities Commission has said before, there is an 80 billion ringgit funding gap for micro and small medium enterprises in Malaysia. And because of this gap, P2P financing operators such as us are needed and required to help close that gap. So the background that microLEAP came from is that there was another gap that we saw, which was the Islamic gap. Even though at that time when we were looking on how to set ourselves up as a fintech company, even though the P2P financing market had dispersed about 500 million ringgit in Malaysia, the actual size for Islamic was tiny. Now Malaysia is number one in terms of Islamic capital markets, so we wondered why was there such a huge gap. And because of that, microLEAP was born, and we were set up to fulfill that gap and also to help micro enterprises. Okay, in terms of the industry outlook for Islamic P2P, I think it's huge. The market is largely untapped, and there is a strong demand for Islamic assets at the moment. Many of our P2P investors are not only Muslims, but also we have every race covered. We have Indian and Chinese investors because they also look at ethical and sustainable and responsible investments. And because we are Shariah compliant, we fit all those kinds of criteria. So it's not just Islamic investments are not just for Muslims, it's for everyone that want to look at ethical principles. So it is very easy to raise funds on microLEAP's platform. Everything is done online. You have to fill in the application, upload certain documents like your financial statements. Now, if, for example, your makcik in Kuala Pilah doesn't have a financial statement, they can download our template, which is an Excel worksheet, and once they fill in all the details that they probably get from Buku 555 or on their own piece of paper onto the spreadsheet, it automatically calculates the profit and loss for them, their revenue, and also their balance sheet for them. So everything is very easy and is accessible on our platform. They also have to upload 3 months bank account statements and also their business premise photos so that we can entice the P2P investors to come and invest in their investment note. So we have many success stories on our platform. We have, for example, a lady who sells cookies down in Johor who raised 20,000 ringgit for her business. We have a goreng pisang seller in Pahang who used 15,000 ringgit to redo her shop, and now she's selling even more pisang goreng than she's ever done before. We have a small entrepreneur who sells halal confectionery on Lazada and Shopee, and he needed only 6,000 ringgit, very small sums, just to buy more stock, and he is one of our best paymasters that we have because he's making more revenue. So these are the kind of micro enterprises that we try to help, and normally it is their first actual debt financing that they've ever had. They never had a loan before, they've never gone to other P2P players. Because we are really micro focused, we help and take care of businesses that have fallen through the cracks of traditional banking systems.
Hi, my name is Tunku Dari Nasifuddin Muzaffar. I'm the founder and CEO of microLEAP. We're an Islamic and Conventional P2P microfinancing platform. And today I'd like to talk to you about Islamic P2P financing. With Malaysia being a leader in Islamic capital markets, issuers on microLEAP's platform can tap the Islamic P2P financing market. So these are investors who are looking for Islamic assets, who are looking to finance issuers that want to raise Shariah-Compliant Financing. So with that, let me just show you a short video of what and how easy it is for you as an issuer to raise Islamic financing on microLEAP. Are you a small business owner looking for alternative Islamic financing? Try Islamic P2P financing with microLEAP. So what do you need to do? First, please read and understand the Shariah-Compliant guidelines. Find out more on microLEAP's FAQ page. Once you have understood the rules, go onto our website and create an account. Then choose Raise Funds. Fill in your funding details, including funding amount, tenor, and purpose of funds. Start by filling in your business details in our easy-to-follow steps. You may choose Islamic under application type. You'll need to have a guarantor for this financing. Simply scan or take a picture and upload your identification documents. Then upload your business bank and financial statements. If your revenue goes into your personal account, upload your personal bank statement. Next, upload other supporting documents that you think might help with your application. Upload your business premise photos and make sure it is attractive enough for us to feature on our platform. Then agree and tick the agreement, TNC and privacy policy. And click submit and wait for our team to carry out our checks. You'll also need to complete a psychometric test that measures your willingness to pay your installments. Once we have completed our credit checks, you are approved for financing. You will then need to fill out a simple Q&A so that P2P investors know what your business is about, like the reason for financing and future plans. Then your investment note will be featured on our funding list, ready for investment. You have 30 days to raise your funds. Complete our online debt management video training, then our team will transact the commodity murabaha. Funding is only transferred after you have completed and passed the online video training. Once your note is successfully filled, we will disperse your financing direct to your bank account. Remember to keep track of your monthly payments. Thank you for choosing microLEAP. Small steps, big impact. Good luck! Okay, in order to be an issuer on microLEAP's P2P financing platform, first, your industry must not be in the Sharia non-compliant list. Now, this list was given to us by Sharia Advisor, Masharaf Management House, and as long as you're not within this list, then you are allowed to raise financing in our platform. Same rules apply to conventional, from a minimum amount of 1,000 ringgit up to 50,000 ringgit. That is what we allow on our platform. So just to give you a flavor of what is not allowed, let me show you this.
that was just a few examples of what is on our non-Shariah compliant list. Other examples include prostitution, hotels where it sells alcohol, including interest-based lending, also conventional insurance, also production and distribution of, for example, idols and statues. The list is on our FAQs on microLEAP Islamic. So if you're interested to find out more, please go on our website.
So as you can see, here is the list of Sharia non-compliant business activities that are not allowed for Islamic P2P financing on microLEAP. Please go to our website under microLEAP Islamic to find out more. As with all Sharia-compliant products that has to be regulated by the Securities Commission, a Sharia pronouncement must first be approved by the Sharia Advisory Council of the Securities Commission. So in our Sharia pronouncement, which you can see here, our Islamic Investment Notes are based on commodity murabaha by a tawarruk arrangement. Now, this may seem a little bit complicated to many of you, but rest assured that microLEAP takes care of this. As an Islamic issuer and as an Islamic investor, you don't have to worry. We will do this on your behalf, and also a commodity murabaha agreement has to be signed between microLEAP and the issuer.
So now we've talked about issuers. Let's talk about investors, okay? The P2P investors who are looking for Islamic assets. So majority of our P2P investors are Muslims looking for Islamic assets, but they're also non-Muslims. Now we have Chinese and Indian investors as well. Now they are looking at ethical investments, because at the end of the day, Islamic and ethical practices actually go hand in hand.
Looking for alternative investments that provide better returns than fixed deposits? Are you looking for Islamic investments that are Sharia compliant? Try Islamic P2P financing with microLEAP. So, what are the steps? Go onto our website and create an account. Choose Become an Investor. Fill in the applicant details, including full name, IC, and date of birth. You may choose Islamic accounts only in your investor application. Scan or take a picture of the front and back of your IC. Choose the files and upload. Then either upload a scanned copy of your bank statement or transfer RM1 online from your bank account. Then agree and tick the agreement, TNC and privacy policy. Click submit and wait for us to carry out our checks. Once due diligence has been carried out, you're approved. Add to your available balance by FPX, online transfer, or by cash deposit, check, or bank transfer. Go to the funding list and search for Islamic Investment Notes. Select Islamic Investment Notes by clicking here. Find the returns and tenors that suits you. Click on the Islamic Investment Notes to find out more about the issuer or borrower. Once you like what you see, choose your amount and click Invest Now. Or choose Auto Invest and select your criteria so that you don't miss out on our latest Islamic notes. Here is your Islamic term sheet which details your trade. And you have 24 hours to retract your investment if you change your mind. The payment schedule tells you when you receive your payments. Regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia, SC. Thank you for choosing microLEAP. Small steps, big impact. Happy investing!
So a lot of our investors are looking for ethical investments and also impact investments, which is what microLEAP is all about. We're all about impact, okay? So your small amount of funding has a huge impact on these micro enterprises that we're trying to help. So when you're looking at what you want to invest in, they will look at the industry that the issuer is in, the profit rate that the issuer is paying per month, also the credit rating. And on our platform, you can also see a bit more of a flavor of what the issuer's business is, what they do, who is the owner, also some revenue, how much they're making. Also, there's a little bit of a credit rationale of why they're rated that way. All this is all transparent because under Islamic teachings, everything should be transparent. So let me emphasize that 90% of our investment notes are actually Islamic, while 10% is conventional. So really, as a P2P investor, you are really making impact on all these issuers that we're trying to help. For example, we have a goreng pisang seller in Johor who raised 15,000 ringgit to redo her shop. And right now, after the renovation, it looks amazing. And she's doing really well down in Johor. We have people who use the funds to buy more stock because they are a halal confectionery who sells on Lazada and Shopee. And with only a small amount of funds, he's adding more stock and really doing well. So these kind of assistance, this P2P financing that you are giving these issuers are really making a difference and really pushing the halal economy that we really want to help.
Now, one of the things that I'd like to let you all know is that besides giving out Islamic financing, there are also other value adds that we give our issuers or our borrowers. So, as you can see, they can raise funds from as little as 1,000 ringgit to 50,000 ringgit. As I said before, through Islamic or conventional financing. But there's something that sets us apart from many of the other operators at the moment, is that we're the only one that provides personal accident insurance for free to the key person or business owner of the issuer. So in the event of accidental death or disability, then our insurance partner will pay out the full outstanding amount to microLEAP, and microLEAP will pay out to all the P2P investors. So P2P investors are protected in that way. And also for the issuer, they don't have to worry if anything happens to them. The whole outstanding amount will be fully paid back to the P2P investors. Now, we also provide basic debt management and basic accounting video training for free. This is because we want to make sure that the issuers who receive funds from microLEAP know how to manage their debt, know how to do basic bookkeeping, so that they have these skills that they can learn and take their business forward. So we're not just giving them financing, we're giving these value-added incentives and knowledge and skills that they can use to improve their business.
Okay, so I've now showed you the basics of what it is to be an investor and an issuer on microLEAP's platform. So now I want to take you to our website, microleapasia.com, and see how it actually works in real life.
Okay, so this is our website, www.microleapasia.com. If you scroll down, you have our current statistics at the moment. Happy to say 0% default rate and 29 fully funded notes. On the right is our current promotions. Our website is actually in both in English and in Bahasa Malaysia. So if you just click on the top right, English or BM, you can choose which language you prefer. For this demonstration, we'll go back to English. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see some writings on the League of Extraordinary Investors. Now, this is how we gamify the whole investment process. So by investing in any of our investment notes, you automatically join our league and you can earn points as you rise through the ranks of rookie, apprentice, champion and seafood. Further down, you see the reasons to become a P2P investor on microLEAP's platform. And here is where it gets interesting. So here are all the notes currently that are available. You can either click on see all notes, or you can scroll down to where the funding list is. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the funding list, and you can choose which note that you want to invest. Of course, you can also do auto investment so that you don't miss out any notes if you want to. But for this case, we'll look at manual investments. Now, everything that has an I in it are Islamic Investment Notes. Anything with a C is conventional. So if you click the investment note, you find out a bit more information on who the issuer is, what they do, if it's Sharia compliant or if it's conventional. Is both in English and in Bahasa Malaysia. So if you scroll down, you can see who is the owner, the key person in the business. You can see what are their future plans. Further down, you can see what has been their annual sales turnover. If you keep scrolling, you can see the number of years in business, also how they would utilize the funds, and lastly, you can see the credit rationale that we have given for this particular investment note. So if you like this investment note, you go back up and go to the investment screen. You can play around with the slider. Minimum investment is 50 ringgit. You can pay up to the amount that they want. If you like what you want, you click invest now. You can still change your mind and choose the amount that you want to invest. You can see the rate of return on the right and your total gross return on investment. You would then tick confirm the investment amount and you would invest. Now, once you invest, you actually have 24 hours to retract this investment in case you change your mind or you made a mistake. You also get email updates of your investment. Now, if you look at the term sheet, this is where all the information on your investment is held. It tells you your investment note, your tenor, your credit risk rating, the investment amount, the profit rate, in this case is 13.4% per annum, the total gross return on investment, and the arrangement fee, which is the fee that we charge. And further down, you get your payment schedule, and you can see how much returns per month you get on that small 100 ringgit investment. So it is pretty simple, pretty easy, and all the fees are there for everyone to see. So have a go and see if you can, if you want to invest in Islamic P2P.
Okay, so now you know what Islamic P2P financing is all about. So to conclude, I like to say that one of the biggest misconceptions is that Islamic financing is more expensive than conventional financing. But on microLEAP's platform, it's exactly the same because we absorb the commodity murabaha brokerage costs. So that for any given credit rating, the cost for raising by Shariah-compliant means is the same as raising by conventional means. And another misconception that I like to finish off with is that everyone thinks that Islamic financing or Islamic investments is for Muslims. That's not true. It's for everyone. You don't have to be a Muslim to become an Islamic P2P investor. You don't have to be a Muslim to raise Islamic financing. As long as you are not on the Sharia non-compliant list, you can raise Islamic financing, which is based on ethical teachings, on ethical, sustainable and responsible principles. So give us a go, log on to our platform, and thank you and Assalamu alaikum.